I guess it's good morning, everybody. This is Dave Dubois with the New Mexico Drought Monitoring Work Group, and this is the July 26th call. And as we go around, let's introduce ourselves on the call and then in the room at the Weather Service.
Brandon Bates, your Reclamation, Albuquerque.
Ollie Reed, Albuquerque Journal.
6 Silver, Santa Fe Milwaukee Soil and Water Conservation District.
Curtis, this is a great story from West Gulf RFC in Fort Worth.
Curtis McFadden, Army Corps of Engineers, Albuquerque District.
It's 3 people from Los Ranchos.
Alicia Mars from NOAA, or National Integrated Drought Information System.
This is Chris Romero, NRCS Water Supply Specialist.
So anybody?
Here's Weather Service Albuquerque.
Okay.
I'm Roy Spano. I'm the Senior Service Hydrologist here at the Weather Service Albuquerque.
Anybody else?
Molly Magnus. This is
We got
Laura
3 others.
Vasquez Laura Vasquez at New Mexico in depth.
Anybody else?
Also here in the room at Weather Service Albuquerque, we have Molly Magnuson and Julie Valdez, and then we've got Sean Bennett, a meteorologist in charge here at Weather Service Albuquerque. So we're ready?
We're ready. Go for it, Royce.
Going. Good morning, everyone. I'm going to start off here with precipitation. I made this last week. I've been in and out. So this is July 1st through 21st precipitation. This is from AHAPS. Basically, this is the quality controlled rainfall data from the National Weather Service from our 3 river forecast centers, Colorado, the Arkansas Red River Basin, and West Gulf. So you can see there's some hot spots in there, but the story in large is precipitation is below normal, particularly over the eastern part of the state. We've had a little bit of some wetter areas, but you can see the general trend is that. I'm showing this is the data from the NOAA Regional Climate Centers. Particularly, this is from Western Region Climate Center. This is a 30-day, so from 6/22 to 7/22. This is based off of gauge data, quality control gauge data, and you can see for the most part, this is to me a little more telling than the AHAPS data. The state is below normal. Looking on the right, percent of normal. A good chunk of the state is well below 70% or 50% of normal. Some highlights, those are kind of more individual stations, but that northeast corner there, northwest corner, and then we've had some stuff along the central mountains and in the southwest. Also from the NOAA Regional Climate Centers, this is the 60 and 90-day precipitation. I'm just showing the departure from average. Over the last 60 days, you can see the drying trend in the southeastern part of the state, and that's been continuing the last 90 days, and particularly in the 60-day, the drying trend in the west. This is the SPI, Standardized Precipitation Index. This one is from, again, one of the regional climate centers for the High Plains. This isn't something that Western Region Climate Center provides, so sorry about the scale difference, but 30-day in the top left, 90, and then water year. See, water year, we're, overall doing fairly well, but that was from a bump around Christmas time. But you can see the drying trend, particularly over the eastern part of the state, just continuing over the 90, the 60, and 30-day SPI. So I think this is kind of telling that, particularly over the last 30 to 45 days, as these ridges of high pressure have set up, we've certainly seen the precipitation kind of cut down over the region. A little bit of increase of precipitation over the southwest areas where we've had that D1 drought lingering. This is from PRISM. That's our folks up at Oregon State University. Again, same sort of trend right there. We're seeing, I kind of draw your attention to the bottom right photo picture there, where again precipitation below normal over the eastern part, and to the northwest also well below normal. That being said, northwest area, this is all gauge data. We don't have a lot of gauges in the northwest, and radar coverage is not that great, but still the trend is there. We're drying out. Here's another number to kind of point out. Looking at going off of what National Climate Data Center has gotten for a statewide average for June 2016, preliminary precipitation data is 0.89 inches. That's just a little bit below the statewide normal. As always, the climate background, I'm not very fond of statewide averages unless you're Rhode Island. It's, particularly in this sort of state, it's too large, too many climatic regimes, so that's easily kind of nullified. And some other except that spatial graphics, I think, are showing that. So, and actually, I take correction here, I've not changed that number. This is the correct number. That was an error in the previous slide. 1.14 inches, near normal, 67th driest. That's right there in the middle. You can see there on the graph, that is the statewide normal. And calendar year, below normal, at 43rd driest. And then continuing that trend for water year above normal, again, that's the 33rd wettest. Over 1.29 inches above. And then there's our 12 months, still showing wet. That is from that peak around Christmas, that extra precipitation. So, Brian Geyer threw these in for me. This is the NASA Sport soil moisture product. This is the deep soil moisture, so that much deeper layer in the water in the soil column, down to 200 centimeters. 1 month changes. This is a really good representation. So on the right is where we were last month having this conversation, some drying trend. On the left, you can tell the recent rains have certainly helped the soil column, bring up that precipitation a little bit, that moisture. And then you can see the drying over the eastern half of the state. This is the 0 to 10 centimeters, so this is that very topsoil, the very reactive to drying. Again, right was where we were a month ago, left on the 22nd. Certainly you can see it's shaping up to be almost a flash drought over the eastern part of the state. We are seeing increased soil moisture over that area to the west where we've got the D1 drought, so that's something to consider. This is for those who are on the National Drought Monitor list. This is something that CPC produces for the list. This isn't a widely available product, but it's not hidden. But I've included the link at the bottom. So this is looking where we were the current drought monitor status versus USGS stream flow, and related to that. So you can see a good number of the streams are in that normal category, but we've got quite a few that are below normal for this time of year. Again, with the stream flow in a dry environment in summer, when you're already at base flow, I take these numbers with a little grain of salt. I mean, when you're already near base flow, 30 or 40% below normal can be still almost at base flow. You're not really seeing a whole lot. So take that with a grain of salt, but it kind of shows you a good trend. All right, so where do we stand? This is the latest current drought monitor for the West. Of course, New Mexico, we've had no changes. Severest drought is still in California, as recent as fires that have been really hitting Southern California pretty hard right now. That trend has continued. New Mexico, again, no changes. We're still in 16% drought. Sorry, I changed the top right, but we have not changed drought monitor since the last call. Still 16% of the state, roughly in moderate drought. 3-month trend was decreasing. We had some precipitation come in. However, looking at current data, this is something we need to discuss. So, kind of going into the extended outlook from the Climate Prediction Center and some of our partners. So this is from the Climate Prediction Center, from their weekly INSO briefing. You can see the sea surface temperature anomalies along the equator in the eastern Pacific are starting to fall. That is indicative of a developing La Nina, particularly what we call the El Nino 3.4 region. And kind of furthering some graphics there, that's kind of been our trend since the 22nd, the weekly trend. You can see those sea surface temperatures are continuing to go below normal, and that is starting to propagate to the west as well. So we're talking about the Nino regions. Again, 3.4 is, we break them into 4 regions, but 3.4 is kind of this middle region there. That's kind of the trigger for declaring El Nino or La Nina or neutral conditions. And you can see right there, starting to dip into that below normal category. So that is, like I said, the weekly departure is only 0.6 below, but the trend is there and it's continuing. So from CPC, include the previous graphics, you can see again, they are right now slightly favored to be going into La Nina in the late summer, early fall time period. Roughly by fall, winter, they're expecting greater than 50%, so 55 to 60% that we will go into La Nina. And this is based off of the IRI and CPC probabilistic. You can see the trend is increasing. This is the scatter spaghetti plot from multiple models from NASA, Japanese Meteorological Agency scripts, but all showing, with one exception, the trend of going into at least a weak La Nina condition. Certainly some of the models go into a strong La Nina, but the kind of consensus there is into a weak La Nina cold phase. This is from INSEP's climate forecast system, and they've done some corrections there. Again, you see the same trend going down from the multiple runs, the anomaly continuing, going into La Nina conditions by the winter. So, what is CPC indicating for forecast? So this is the August precipitation outlook for the western part of the state, normal to above normal. As we've kind of been seeing the trend, we have been seeing some monsoon plumes, but they've mainly been over Arizona. For the 2/3 of New Mexico, CPC is expecting equal chances. No real forecast skill right there. Temperature, different story. They are, with the current trends, they're expecting a normal to above normal temperatures for August. And so looking out for August through October, precipitation forecast, CPC has no real skill right now, so they're saying equal chances. And then temperatures, though, skill is pretty good there with good chance of normal to above normal temperatures for late summer. So heading into autumn, what we've got, again, continuing the equal chances of precipitation for September, October, November, that transitional period. Going into winter, though, CPC is putting better than normal chances of below normal precipitation. So that's going to be something we're going to have to pay attention to, particularly for snowpack and recharging the reservoirs as we get to that part of the year. This has not changed, has not been updated yet. This is the seasonal drought outlook. Still, CPC is maintaining that they are expecting removal. The southwest part of the state, certainly we've started to see some trend that way. So kind of throwing in something extra here, the last 7 days we've seen a little bit of return of monsoon moisture. This is again from our AHAPs. On the left is the observed precipitation. On the right is the departure from normal. You can see again the trend is we're starting to see some precipitation to the west, but starting to dry out over the east. Although we did have some rain amounts overnight of over 2 inches down near the Little Bear burn scar. So I kind of throw this in. This isn't normal, but something to kind of give you an idea of these, how the influence of the high pressure has been. This is something you can see on our the Albuquerque website for the Weather Service, our daily dew point tracker. This is kind of an average dew point. You can see those crashes down is where the ridge of high pressure is really centered over the state and started to shut off precipitation. So this is only for Albuquerque, but it shows a good trend of what's been going on the last since June 1st, that this ridge of high pressure has been really suppressing things and keeping the moisture out of the area. So again, there's my email address, our website, and discussion. This is last week's map, no changes, and for thoughts and changes. But I'll pass it back to you, Dave.
All right. Thanks, Royce. just seeing if there's, I don't know if, do we have anybody from the Santa Teresa office on the call? Okay. I'll try to reach out to them. I think we were seeing this both in there was some areas with the SPI plots, the lists, and just the AHAPs, as well as the prism showing a degrade of sort of getting a little drier on the east side of the state, and it was sort of almost a dividing line through the center. So I think one of the things we've been tracking is should we keep the D0, and I think we should. And then if there's any thoughts on because it doesn't cover the northeast corner of the state, and I'm just seeing what thoughts there are. If you look at the 30-day SPI, there's pretty dry through San Miguel, through the east central, and that stays in through even part of a 60-day SPI. Then if you go further, and it gets more into that a little wetter, the water year. And then I think, do we really want to keep the D1 in the Boot Hill area? Because we're seeing we've gotten that there's some pretty nice precip events from that. I guess it was a complex Mesa Scale Convective complex. It was that kind of went in through, and it kind of brought in a lot of precip into Cochise, through southeast of Tucson. And I haven't seen what the folks in Arizona are doing on the very southeast corner. I thought something from Mike Crimmins earlier, but I didn't have a chance to read that. So in terms of maybe moving the D1 out of the very southwest corner, those are my two thoughts on where it's surveillance on the D0 further up on the northeast corner, and then maybe erosion in the D1. But it's been
you've seen what they're doing in Texas with this week's drought monitor?
No, I haven't. I haven't yet.
They are expanding considerably along the Texas-New Mexico border, even adding some D1 along the border.
So is that
in that
Panhandle
real dry
or the
spot
west?
near northeast of Roswell.
Okay, on the Panhandle. Okay. Yeah, I'm wondering if we should. Because we had some. I mean, if you look at I think it was the prism going into Roosevelt, down through Clovis. Even further down in northern Lee County. And I was also looking at the.
Dave's right there.
Go ahead.
I would recommend trimming the D1 in that southwest corner back a little bit. I honestly would put D0 over most of the state. I mean, I think we've been a little bit behind the ball. We basically had a flash drought.
Yeah.
I'd have to look at the drought email list to see what the recommendations are. I looked really hard, but I would not be against just going straight to D1 over that southeast corner, because we've had multiple days, week plus of 100-degree plus temperatures through that region, and even though we've had some convection, that's drying things out pretty good. And I think the soil moisture is the 0 to 10 centimeters is a pretty good indicator. Total that it dried out pretty fast. This might be the deep soil might be a little bit better, because this does include Texas.
Right.
So I would not be opposed at all to just go straight to D1, and we're going to flash drought and go from there.
Okay. Yeah.
Hey, Royce, I just sent you.
What?
Royce, I just sent you the Texas recommendations to your email if you want to look at it real quick.
Okay, I haven't seen anything. I've been juggling multiple things, so I haven't had a chance to look on the drought list.
Okay.
There we go.
There you go.
Okay, I've got on the drought list. I just haven't looked I'm on the drought monitor list, so let's see. He's all right.
Okay,
So
I
this
see
is what can everyone see this well enough?
Right.
This
This
draft,
is
okay.
current recommendation on the drought monitor list. I would probably go ahead and paint all northeast corner of New Mexico, but I can't disagree with Dr. NG.
Yeah, there's that little spot there in a D1 spot over on the far eastern bordering New Mexico. But I don't know what did Arizona did they expand that the D2?
It looks like they did.
Okay, that's interesting. I know it's been really dry in the very far west along the Colorado. That last
There's
week's?
the current. There's the current. So it looks like they did not expand.
Okay. There it is. Keep it at. But they I think they got some pretty good rains over. I know there was some. I was looking at some of the Kokoras in the last. Let's see. This is Tuesday. So yeah, it was last week.
Let me look and see if we've got a current draft here.
Yeah, do they have a draft for?
I'm looking to see what our current draft is.
There's also the Arizona. They have their own sub.
Brad.
Yeah, I think Brad sent something out.
Yeah, Brad's the author. I'm looking.
Just passed it up. It's on there. There it is.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we're right on the edge. So that's the proposed current draft 1 from Brad Rippey, who's the author this week.
Okay.
And we're kind of clipped on that, but that's...
Is there a Southwest version? Did he?
No, he just sent those as draft 1, so let's see. So
He's still
those
working
areas,
on it.
he's still working on it, so...
Maybe he's waiting for us to see what comments we have.
Probably so. So I'm actually okay with that depiction. I mean, we have had some more storms to the northeast, but if that matches up well with Texas.
Because they sort of leave out, in that one they leave out San Miguel, and what's the other one? I mean, they go into Union a bit. Yeah, I think I know Tucumcari's been pretty dry. And it's been very hot. We had multiple records there. So yeah, I mean, the evaporative losses is huge. I think even the ET has been really high, huge numbers.
Yeah, I haven't looked at ET, but certainly, like I said, the D0 looks good to me. We could, like I said, just for that eastern portion, just ask them to straight to D1. I mean, like I said, it's been hot. It's a flash drought. It's just gone from...
Right. Yeah, we could expand out. Was that Roosevelt? So, yeah. Okay. But I agree with you. I think we should look at that southwest corner. Even though there was an expansion in there, I don't know if it really deserves a D1 currently. So Royce, can you send out a summary to the Drought author? I don't think anybody on the Drought author is on this call.
Yeah, I can send something out.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah.
So what I'll do is I'll do a etchy sketch, and I'll send that to the group. And if we're all good for that, then I'll send that to the Drought list.
Okay, much appreciated. Yeah. Yeah, because I think we want to get this out on the current week's Drought monitor if we can. We got another day, but I think we better
Yeah,
to do it. since we're doing some more
Yeah,
changes.
Brad's pretty
Yeah, he's responsive, yeah. So any other comments on, well, we can hear some more impacts if folks are on the line. So I think we should move on to the next item on the agenda. And then we can always come back. So Raymond, you're on the call?
Yes, sir, I am.
All right, it's yours.
You hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. I'll start on the rear brand. Storage is the Potoro, 24,382 acre feet. Aaron, 135, 840. Alvaro, 75,388. Abacu, 115, 297. Coach T, 45, 480. Allison View, 207, 928. In Cavallo, 31,567. Storages on the Pecos, Santa Rosa, 82,565. Sumner, 23, 886. Brantley, 22,566. Yeah, we've been feeling this last drought you all are talking about. It's just, we haven't had a whole lot of help from any rain much. We have had a little help in the Santa Casia or most of the Apache area. The river is continuous on the Rio Grande. They've been making Nino releases for a while now. The district's using water from storage. Colorado's pretty much made all the deliveries they need to make to us, so they're just sending, I think, 50 CFS to the state line. So we're on our own pretty much as far as what we're doing on the river here. So but the river is continuous, other than one dry area in the most of the Apache area, and some of that has re-wet with some of the rains that were down here in the valley. Pecos, we are continuous still. They have had triple-digit temperatures from Fort Sumner all the way to Carlsbad for just days on end now, and they are blistering hot through the whole Pecos Valley. They've been using quite a bit of water below Brantley. They've been watering pretty heavily. They had a block release, sent some water down there to keep operating. So they sent water from Santa Rosa and Sumner. We are releasing water from storage for the Bluntman Shiner, and we also have the Vaughn Sunshine. But yeah, everyone's feeling the pinch at Pecos. The FSID allotment is down a bit now from where it was. We're releasing water from storage, and Brantley, we know the block releases are already starting to see their storage take a hit for the watering they have down. But yeah, the lack of rain and triple-digit temperatures is taking its toll. But we're continuous and we're operating. That's good. Just keep hoping for rain. Any questions? Okay, thank you.
I just wanted to double check some of your reservoir figures. This is Ollie Reed at the Journal. What did you have at Alvarado?
At Alvarado, we have 75,388.
388. I think
Yes,
you said App2 was 115,297. Is that right?
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
Elephant Butte 207,928.
Yes.
And I didn't catch Caballo.
31,567.
567. All right.
Yes, sir, 567.
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
All right, any other questions for Raymond?
Okay, thanks, Dave.
Yeah, thank you, Raymond. All right, so we go down to Chris Romano.
Hey everyone, I'm here. I've thought about what to talk about because my season's really winter, and with covering the precipitation that has occurred since then, or lack thereof, and how hot it's been will be a little redundant. As far as snow, there is none right now. So I guess I would just say at this point I'm looking at the weather leading up to this winter, the long-range forecast. I just digested Sigmund's report that he sent out. I read through all that this morning, and then your slides as well. And I'm looking at the neutral conditions transitioning to possibly a La Nina this winter, and possibly below average snow, above average temperatures. But things change, so it doesn't look too great at this point. But we never know. So I'm kind of watching the weather, long range forecast, and I guess I'll just open it up to any questions that anyone might have at this point, leading into the fall and then winter. Got to be at least one question for me.
Anything new on the maintenance of the Snowtel? Any changes?
No, not really. I was doing maintenance several weeks ago, and then I had a site up north near Santa Fe that, it was suddenly leaking precip. It was a very slow leak, but, so I went out there. It took me all day to get out there, and I went in, and then there's an opening on the precip can, and at first I searched around the site everywhere. I looked at all the electronics inside. I couldn't find anything, and then I went to take a look at basically a large screw that's in the can, and it was loosened. So I don't know how that happened. It almost seems intentional, as if somebody had gone out there and intentionally loosened the bolt so that it would slowly leak out. But I fixed it, but they cost me a day, and I don't know why somebody would do that, but who knows. It's a lot of work to get out there to do that. And in fact, the wrench I use is about a 50-pound wrench. So somebody went through a lot to loosen the bolt on that can.
Wow.
Yeah. But it's fixed. It's accurately reading now. Just had to adjust the baseline.
At least it wasn't bullets. We have a lot of that problem in our area.
Yeah.
Bullet through
Oh no, it's
gate sides.
behind a closed gate. It's a public access road, but it's a gate owned by the Forest Service. So anybody could have hiked out there if they wanted to, but like I said, they had to carry about a 50-pound wrench to do it. But no, we got everything up and running throughout the state. Maintenance-wise, everything's looking pretty good right now as far as the Snowtel network in New Mexico.
Great, wonderful. Sounds good.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. Appreciate that update on anything changes, and we're on the lookout for the seasonal outlook. Okay, do we have? Didn't think we got Anne Marie on the call. I didn't think so. No, so we'll catch up with her later. Let's go on with the state engineer's report. I think either Molly or Julie. I'm going to mute my phone because I think there's some background noise here.
Sure, yeah. So our standard report, I do want to apologize for not putting up last month on the website, but I'm making a note to myself to get these posted sooner. I went through when Raymond gave his numbers, and looks like our numbers are pretty close, so hopefully the graphics match what's really out there. So we can just go through the slides. our standard legend. So Navajo a little bit down from last month, but staying up there. About the same story. Santa Rosa down a little bit, but still above average. Sumner getting, I guess, closer to average. Again, a drop from the month before. And then Brantley is about the same that it was, although much lower than last year. But on the Rio Grande, it's a little different story. Way below average. On Heron, below average on El Vado, again dropped down some from last month. Abiquiu, again, below average. And Elephant View, way below average. Sad. And then Caballo. So I know that's pretty fast, but I see no point in reading any numbers when we already went through them once before. And I will work on getting this posted on the Drought Task Force website.
Great, thanks, Molly. Any questions for Molly? All right then, so do we have anybody from New Mexico Department of Agriculture on the call? Either Les or Ryan? Guess I don't see them on GoTo, so we'll have to catch up with them. Get some. I did notice that there was some articles on the Sun News about the chili harvest was underway. I'll have to see how that goes. And if there's any other articles you find, please forward them about any of the harvests or any drought impacts on, especially on the east side of the state. Okay, do we have Susan Rich on the call? And I don't see her on the GoTo. Let's see. Okay.
Dave, this is Big Silver.
Yes.
I don't usually say anything, but I think it would be helpful if we had a tree dryness statistic that was part of this report. Tree moisture.
Yeah, I'll bring that up with Susan to see what kind of information. We're always looking for more drought impacts. Trying to get more forestry involved. That's been my goal. So yeah, thanks for that. Thanks for that, Sig. And of course, if anybody has any suggestions, feel free. I'm always looking for improvements on getting impacts, and so there's no shortage of information, but it's more of getting it to our attention. There's a lot of things out there, but we don't.
Hey, Dave, Royce here. Road Service Outlook. I'll take a look for next month to see if there's any NDVI data that's possible, or something else from NASA or Sport. But I'll take a look for NDVI. That might be our best remote sense data for vegetation. I'll take a look, see if there's something usable.
I'm sort of back and forth on NDVI in New Mexico. It works better for other parts of the country, but we're welcome to bring it in and take a look. But I had a lot of talks with the other folks in the Range Improvement Task Force, and I'm not saying we don't look at it, but I think it's welcome to take a look at.
Yeah, I'll take a look. I know NASA Sport and those guys have a lot of new remote sense products. So I'll poke around and talk to Brian Geyer and see what's out there.
Sounds great. Appreciate that. Let's see. Do we have Anthony on the call? I don't see see him on. Let's remind us. So, Alicia, if you have I'll give a few minutes. Would you like to give a kind of update on what we talked about with NIDIS, and then what's going on with the dues updates?
Sure.
Maybe announce yourself.
Yeah, so I'm Alicia Mars. I am one of the Regional Drought Information Coordinators for NIDIS, the National Integrated Drought Information System. We're headquartered in Boulder at the NOAA labs up here in Colorado. My focus is primarily the western U.S., so NIDIS is tasked by Congress to create a network of drought early warning systems throughout the country. So we have a series of regional drought early warning systems that we've been standing up to build that network. The first was the Upper Colorado River Basin dues, and one of the other kind of initial ones was the Southern Plains dues, or drought early warning system, which covered New Mexico. As we're trying to fill in the gaps in the map and expand these networks, we are expanding what was the Upper Colorado River Basin dues into Arizona, and recognizing that New Mexico has, many different river basins that influence it and impact it. We have fuzzy boundaries, we'll say, or impervious. So this new, what we're going to call Intermountain West Drought Early Warning System, will creep over a little bit into New Mexico as well, the western portion of New Mexico, and those boundaries aren't going to be hard and fast. Like I said, they're kind of impervious or fuzzy. But really what it does is it gives stakeholders in New Mexico, hopefully, access to even more information and resources. And we're not trying to add another layer of complication. So these drought early warning systems, if you're not familiar, the primary purpose is to help with the dissemination of drought and climate information to stakeholders at all levels of government and sectors. So it's not just improving access to information, but it's also hopefully improving their ability to use it and understand it. So it's a bit of a capacity building emphasis as well. There's also an emphasis on drought planning and mitigation. So it's a pretty large task, and there's a lot of flexibility. But the reason that we've created these regional dues is to respond to the specific needs of the stakeholders and resources in the region. So we're hoping that with this expansion southward for this new dues, the Intermountain West, the folks in New Mexico will have the opportunity to tap into both the activities that may be happening within that dues, and then still be a part of the Southern Plains dues, which is New Mexico, Texas, and Oklahoma. So all of this is currently kind of under development, I would say, in terms of the Intermountain West, especially. We're doing some stakeholder outreach, so if you're interested in providing feedback or being involved, that would be great. I would love to get your perspectives. We're hoping to have a stakeholder meeting probably in Tucson in September, and there'll be ongoing activities to kind of get this off the ground. Another element of this process is that NIDIS is creating 2-year strategic plans for each of these drought early warning systems. So that will help things be a little bit more transparent as to what the activities are underway, what the needs are of the stakeholders in the region, and how we hope to address them. And NIDIS is a NOAA program, but we have an interagency mandate from Congress to help coordinate drought information and dissemination from across, like I said, all levels of government, but especially the federal government. Drought.gov is our website, so you can poke around there and kind of see. But as I said, because this is kind of a preliminary update for you guys, a heads up, some of the maps and information don't necessarily reflect where we are with bringing Arizona and western New Mexico into this Intermountain West dues. We don't even say Intermountain West dues anywhere on the website yet. It's so new. So we wanted to give you guys a heads up that that's where we are, and if you had any feedback or thoughts or anything like that, I can try to answer any questions today, or I'm happy to talk to folks offline. And then Courtney Black is my office mate, who was unfortunately on another call, and she coordinates the eastern dunes. So the southern plains actually falls into that region of the country for us. We kind of divide down the Rockies. So you get both of us, which is a blessing. So she can answer questions as well. So, any questions?
Hi, this is Ollie Reed with the Albuquerque Journal. What's the name of your organization again?
This is the National Integrated Drought Information System.
Thank you.
Well, thanks, Alicia. We're going to be following what goes on, and I think once we get information about the Tucson meeting, we could. I don't know. Is that who are the audience for that meeting?
So this group would be definitely invited. Absolutely, yeah. We're hoping to get obviously a fair amount of folks from the Southwest, so from Arizona, New Mexico, and the location should help with that. But we're looking for information providers, drought information providers, decision makers as well. So state government folks, obviously federal partners, and then industry as well. So if you're looking at maybe cattlemen's associations or the forestry sector especially is important, and it's interesting to hear what you guys were talking about on the call just now. Obviously wildfire is an ongoing issue in the region, and so something that another initiative that NIDIS is working on right now is working with the wildfire management community to better integrate drought and climate science into their decision-making processes. What needs do they have? So that could be another potential audience, but there's a lot going on.
Great, thanks. Well, as we get further along on it, I think we'll find out more about how we can be more engaged, and I think I'm all for more data sharing and collaboration. So I know I'll be contacting the folks at NIDIS, and then I'll forward the information on to this group and see where we can improve things, or data with or just getting more contacts. And so sounds like a plan. Is it anything else, Alicia?
No, I don't think so. Not right now.
Okay.
We'll keep you updated. Yeah.
Great. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. No problem. Any other items for discussion?
David, Bennett, Albuquerque. I have a comment for Alicia. She's still there.
Yep, I'm here.
As MIC and the Weather Service, our stakeholders are particularly interested in the near and long-term outlooks for the climate vis-a-vis drought. And I'll give you an example. The variation, the state of the science is not such that we can put much precision on what the forecast is or the outlook is, but we had a run up to the big El Nino event that was coming, and everybody thought, well, that means we're going to get a great winter, and it turned out to bust, even though we had a lot of, I won't call it hype, but justifiably so, the observation showed a pretty strong El Nino. Not every time, we know it's not the same every time, but what we need is a way to assign the level of confidence to the information that we have. We're looking at a transition to a La Nina. La Nina and El Nino are not the only factors. We also have a Pacific decadal oscillation and a positive phase, etc. So having the information is one thing, and communicating it in its quality is really the struggle that we've had for a long time as a forecast service, National Weather Service. So whatever we can do to improve in that area. I know it depends on the experience, but that's an important element. And so in New Mexico, we were expecting a really great winter, and it didn't turn out that way.
Exactly, and that's a really great example of something that we've been trying to work with other areas on. California really likes to beat that point, and they, obviously El Nino was not the savior, especially the first round that they wanted it to be. So, something that we're trying to do more is some Outlook webinars, and in addition to Outlooks, and help our stakeholders communicate the uncertainty that surrounds these forecasts more. And that rather than focusing on making better forecasts, which folks are trying to do for sure, but we're not going to have a crystal ball anytime soon. So helping our stakeholders and the media and the community and the decision makers understand the uncertainties that surround each of these forecasts, I think is our short-term best available solution to the problem.
Well,
so that's something we'd like to, and we're looking at trying to do more of that leading up to this, with this new La Nina forecast.
Right.
So we'd love to work together, and we've talked to Dave about, we're kicking around some very initial activities for this fall for how we can do that. So we'd love your feedback as we move further along with that.
Well, if we turn out to have a marginal or near neutral La Nina, and we have a positive PDO, which we expect to continue, it can turn out to be more of a neutral type outcome, what we've seen during neutral years. So that's what I've noticed here in New Mexico. But so just hanging all of our or putting all our eggs in an El Nino or INSO basket isn't always a good thing. So the uncertainties around that, I certainly agree with you, are an important element to communicate.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, it sounds great. I think when we get more discussion with NIDIS on what we can do, I'll forward that on to our group. And for sure, Sean and other folks at Weather Service, it's a community, so we can talk about it together. So what do we want to say? What is our message and things like that? Communicating our lack of understanding on some of these things, or what is the connection?
Yeah, and we really look to the local stakeholders to help us understand the best way to get that information out. Some communities, regions really like webinars, others want in-person meetings. So in the West, where everybody is so spread out, webinars tend to be easier, but we can help assist with all of that.
This Royce here at Albuquerque. I'll throw in, back when I was service hydrologist at Spokane, we had the Drought Mitigation Center come out. We had a local stakeholder meeting that was really valuable. We got a lot of, particularly the ag sector. So that's something certainly that might work well if we go do some of those, if that's possible to do some local outreach. It's just a lot easier to get folks in the room and have a good discussion during the day, but it was really a productive day, so I'd highly recommend that.
Yep, that's a perfect example of one of the things we can do, yeah. Awesome.
Oh, wonderful. Okay. Alrighty, any other items for discussion? Okay. Let's talk about our next call in August. About the same time in August would be the 23rd. That's a Tuesday. Tuesday, the 23rd of August. Is that a good time for folks?
That's good to me.
Is the weather service available that day?
Will be.
Okay. So 10 a.m. Mountain Time, Tuesday, August 23rd. That's our next call. If anybody has a problem, let me know now. Okay, I think that's it. I think I'll call that a good then. So August 23rd, 10 a.m. Mountain Time will be the next call. Well, as I mentioned earlier, go ahead. What's that? Sorry, I didn't hear you.
No, I was just saying thanks, Dave.
Oh yeah, you're welcome. And if anybody has any information in the meantime, please share, and then we'll get the PDFs of the reports out to you guys into the state engineer's website. So thanks everyone, I appreciate it, and sorry about the background noise.
Hey Dave, Royce, this is Ollie at the Journal.
Sure.
Yeah. Before we sign off, I just wanted to check on something. Just listening to your discussions today, does it look like we're going to be adding a little bit to the drought area for the next map?
I think so. I think that was the bottom line, was to bring D0 at least through the rest of New Mexico, and possibly even a D1 over on the eastern side, and lessen up D1 on the far southwest corner. I think that's a fair summary.
When will that map be ready? Next day or two, or?
Yeah, I think if we can get the information out to the drought authors this week, it'll reflect on the Thursday's map. Because they update to the public on Thursday mornings.
And I wanted to ask you guys something too. Something someone threw at me yesterday. Last year turned out to be New Mexico's 5th wettest year. Somebody who has some background and more background in this than I do suggested that we were heading to our 5th driest year this year. Is that an accurate assessment at this point?
For this,
Actually,
go ahead.
let me. I've got the statewide. Give me a second here to get to where we are. I did not get a chance to update the titles. I was kind of hurrying and scurrying through this yesterday, last week. So on the webinar right now, these titles will be adjusted on the slides, so I'll send them out this afternoon. So this is through the end of June, statewide. We were the 43rd driest, and that is correct, with roughly 80% of normal.
Okay.
So that is a statewide number. Take it for what it is because of the varying climate regimes. You're kind of lumping them all together, but that's kind of been our trend. That'll update at the beginning of August. We'll update through July. So we're certainly below normal. Earlier in the year we had some bumps, but that's water year. Let's see, where is it? For the water year, so October through June, we're still above, but we had that kind of burst in late 15, Christmas-ish.
Sure.
That's kind of where we're standing as we're going down.
Okay, so that's a far cry from the 5th driest then. I thought I heard you saying 43rd driest earlier on. That's why I wanted to raise that question. And the slides will be going out this afternoon?
I've got to do some tweaks, and then we've got. I will be sending that out to the group that normally gets them in the afternoon.
I just want to make sure
for the end of the day.
That's why I usually do get them, but since I didn't get the agenda this time, I just want to make sure my email is on there. If I can just read at abqjournal.com.
Yeah, Ollie, I've got you on my, because I'm looking at my email list here. I've got you on there. So, yeah, there's going to be sent later this afternoon by the end of the business day.
Okay, appreciate that.
We're only about a third away into the monsoon. So, we got 2 more months to go. So, the trend is dry right now, but we're not done with the monsoon yet. And we get the bulk of our moisture during monsoon. So, we'll see what happens. But, we're not at the 5th, that's for sure.
Yeah, the only thing that we're concerned about is the temperatures, because when we don't get precip, the high temperatures add to the effect. I mean, it brings the high ET values in between the precip times. I haven't looked at the latest with, but we are heading some into the, pretty warm averages for July. I don't have the numbers yet, but maybe it's something we can report out for next month. All right, any more last minute questions? All right, thanks folks. Thank you for hanging in there. And we'll see you, we'll talk to you next month.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Yep.